I was considering Silicon Valley for several months before talking to my CEO. But I decided to take a chance. The way we do is, yes, we do it in the simplest possible way. We put it in the market, we ask feedback for our customers and users, we learn, and we improve.
Welcome to Talk to Walk, Vicente.
Thank you.
Live in Brazil and coming to the Silicon Valley.
It is a great experience. So when I left Brazil, I came to Stanford to spend 1 year at Stanford as a visiting scholar. So I had 1 year to experience this ecosystem here in the university, talking also to investors, doing research, and at the same time figuring out how my company could take advantage of this ecosystem.
So let's go back and explain about TOTVS.
Okay, so TOTVS is an enterprise software company. TOTVS today is the number 6 in the entire world, and we develop software for the enterprise, for other companies. Our goal is to help companies to manage their business and to grow fast, right? We work in 10 different verticals like agriculture, retail, legal, manufacturing, education, etc. So 10 different verticals in the industry.
I know you guys are very strong and very powerful in Latin America, especially in Brazil. So you have like 50% of the Brazilian market, 35% of the Latin America market. And how are you looking forward to come to the US market, and how to take the innovation in the US market, in the Silicon Valley market, and take it to the Latin America market?
It's a great point. So the US market is a different market from Latin America, if you will. It's a much more mature market. It's a more competitive market. So when we first came to the US, especially here to the Silicon Valley, the goal was to learn. To learn this ecosystem, to learn about innovation, about processes, technology, and bring it back to Latin America, to our original market. But the company is planning an entry for the US.
And what about results? Like, have you taken results, financial results with that already or not?
So let's talk about the labs here on Silicon Valley, right? So TOTVS Labs on Silicon Valley, we have 2 different goals. The first one is to innovate to the enterprise. My goal is, how can I help this gigantic software company to continue to innovate?
So you're almost like a department from the company in Latin America here in Silicon Valley.
Exactly. The way you can see is like a startup inside this big and gigantic company.
That could not work inside of the company in Latin America or in Brazil.
No, it could work, but we decided to do it here.
You believe so? The mindset is so different, right?
It is different. That's why we came here first to learn. But now I believe we could make it work there. Because now we learn how to do it. Of course, the results or the way would it be different, because every country or even outside California, right? If you go out of Silicon Valley, it is different. The culture, everything is different. But we can take advantages of the local culture and build something that is meaningful, that can make a huge impact for the company.
Sure. What are the core values or the core goals from the labs here?
Okay, so 2 goals. The first one, to innovate the enterprise. So we want to develop new technologies and products to our existing and new customers.
Right.
At the end of the day, we want to solve problems that companies have today or may have in the future. This is the first goal. So the second goal is also to look for partners, especially startups here from the US that we can partner with, that we can invest, and we can help them to go to the Latin America market.
Very good. You know what I wonder here? I wonder 2 things. How does an executive like you come to the board and say, hey, let's open a lab in Silicon Valley? And were you afraid about this moment?
It was tough. I was considering Silicon Valley for several months before talking to my CEO. But I decided to take a chance, to take the risk, to explain to him why we should be here. And we have a very clear vision. We want to be a global standard. We want to be recognized outside Latin America. There's no other way to do that without being here, and especially here in California, in Silicon Valley. So I take the chance, I talk to the CEO, I explain to him, I prove to him that could work, and ask him for 1 year to show results. And I believe we were very successful in the first year with the labs here on Silicon Valley.
How does the company invest in the TOTVS labs? The corporation invests in the labs.
Right. So the way you can see is almost like a startup, like I mentioned, right? We have a project or we have an idea. We have to prove 3 different things for this project. First, an opportunity to innovate. Right? Second, it must have an existing market. Companies would have to be willing to pay for that solution. And third, it has to be a global problem. I can sell not only in Brazil, but also here in the US.
Perfect.
So, and then every time we want to develop a product or a technology, we go to Brazil, we pitch, and we go for fundraising. It's almost the same like a startup.
With your own company.
Exactly, inside the same, which is really great.
Yeah.
We have been exercising this, and then as we achieve milestones, then comes the next round of funding.
How many rounds so far? Like, you get the seed money, of course,
exactly.
to build the labs,
and
then you went for the round A already?
Yes. So we don't have like a regular startup round A,
of course.
but it's been great. We achieve nice milestones, right? So
Can you tell us how much would be invested so far?
I cannot disclose the numbers because it's a public company, right? I cannot disclose how much the company is investing here. But I can give you some figures. For example, when I started the labs in January 2012, it was just me, right? I hired the first person in March.
Wow.
Then we started with looking for problems to solve by March. In July, we started developing the project and hiring the first few engineers, designers, QAs, all of that. So today we have 15 people, and we have a product release. We already invested in a company. We have a few patents already registered.
Wow.
So this has been a very exciting year for the labs.
You know what I figure right now? Congratulations. You are the really entrepreneur, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
You are the entrepreneur. You're not an executive.
Yeah.
Because you really have the mindset for the entrepreneur, and what you're doing with your company, you could be doing with the venture capitals, right?
That is true. So, and I strongly believe that you can always be an entrepreneur, even inside your company. So you don't need to quit to be an entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur inside your company. Of course, that if you want to be outside your company, you can do that, right?
Sure.
But you can also take advantage of a nice corporation supporting you to be this entrepreneur.
That's a beautiful thing to say, you know.
Yeah.
That's because I'm kind of afraid sometimes about, leave the corporations and just go and be an entrepreneur.
Right.
Sometimes, why don't I can be an entrepreneur here inside the corporation, Talk to the CEO and ask them, hey, I want to have this. So show a good project, show research,
exactly.
right? And you're going to have the opportunity to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So here comes the beautiful example. So let's go for some things that you are looking for that I know. So it's cloud, big data, social, and mobile.
Correct.
How is it going?
So it is going well. When we decided to look, these are 4 mega trends in our industry, right? So we look for these 4 mega trends, and my personal goal is to look for problems. Right. So I look in cloud, okay, what are the problems that companies have today or may have in the future that I can help them to solve? So I look for them, I look for problems, and then I have to answer the 3 questions that I mentioned. Can I innovate? Is there a market? And it is global. So the 3 aspects, if we answer yes, then we go to the next steps. Like a small proof of concept, we validate with customers, external investors. Even though I don't need the money, I always like to validate an idea or a prototype with external investors.
Can you give us an example that worked so far?
Yes. So the first product that we developed is an identity management in the cloud, which is different from the traditional ones. Mm-hmm. The traditional identity management products, they only care about what applications you can access, right? But we understand that identity is much more than that. Identity is who you are, who you know, where did you go to college, your skills, your professional experience. So we are bringing all of that, combining data from social media, internal system, building your identity using big data, right? Making everything available in the cloud through mobile devices. So you see how many big trends I'm using. Sure. And making this available, of course, you would have to authorize, but making this available to your company, for example. And we are helping this way companies and employees to better understand each other. So one practical example, sometimes my company has projects overseas, and we need people that can speak Portuguese, English, and Spanish, for example, or has a specific skill. And it's really hard to find those people. So today they can go to our product and they can search in natural language, like my employees that speak Portuguese and English, and we will show them who are those people.
Perfect, very good. And you're saying about this lean culture, right?
Right.
That you work. So how do you put the product in a lean way, test it, and then improve it?
Yeah, we are always learning. So we like to, let's say we have an idea to develop something. The way we do is, yes, we do it in the simplest possible way. We put it in the market, we ask feedback for our customers and users, we learn, and we improve, or we completely change the feature. But that's the idea, we continue, improve, and learn the product.
If I put, I will give you here 3 words.
Okay.
Scale, profit,
right,
and engagement,
right,
user engagement. Put them in a priority.
Right.
What is that? What would it be?
I would say first of all is user engagement, right? So I personally believe that the first goal, and that's the first goal for the labs, is user experience. Not in a sense it has to look beautiful. Yes, it has to look beautiful, but the overall experience has to be amazing for the user, right? He has to have a desire to come back to use your product again.
Sure.
So I believe that's the first one, the user engagement, the user experience. If you offer that, you will scale. Your business will scale. If you scale, you will be profitable. You will generate more revenue and so on and so forth. So I believe in this.
Even though you don't know how to monetize on the beginning?
Even though if you sooner or later you figure out how to monetize your product. Sometimes it might be only the interaction or the data that you're gathering from your users, right? In the other hand, I believe that we should have at least an idea how we can make money, but I strongly believe that the first goal should be experience that I'm providing to my users and customers.
Very good. Let's talk a little bit more global market.
Right.
You're saying that you want to solve global problems. So if you want to solve global problems, you want to go global, right?
Yes.
What's the strategic to go global?
That's a good question. So we talk to universities, to the academy, here in California, in Brazil, Asia, other countries. We are looking to what the academy is doing today because they're far ahead of the market. So they're working in problems that companies don't even have today, right? That's what they're doing. So we talk to the academy. We also talk to research institutes like Gartner, IDC, others. And we talk to real companies, to customers. And by having this opportunity to work in a corporation that has presence in other countries helps me a lot. So I can talk to customers in Mexico, Argentina, Chile, companies here in the US. I can talk to people in Brazil, and then we can figure out if something can be applied globally or not.
Very good. What about buying startups? Are you buying equities?
So
are you focused on that?
So I'm not focused on.
So let's say there are for sure
right.
Lots of entrepreneurs here watching this show,
right?
And they're, hey, why don't I sell like 20% to this guy? He's going to be a strategic investor for my company. They can look for you or not?
They can look for me, but the way I want them to look for me is not to just sell their company. I want them to look at me as, like you said, a strategic partner.
Sure.
What I have to offer is a gigantic market, is the Latin American market, because TOTVS is the leader in that market. So we truly believe that we can help startups to go to this market, right? In the other hand, we also want the help from startups to improve our products, improve our technology, or even build new products to our customers. But the ultimate goal is these strategic partnerships. Eventually, it can be an investment. It can be we can buy some shares in the company, but the first goal is this strategic partnership.
So, just to understand, when you say strategic partnership, are you becoming really partner, or just like making a contract for the Latin America market?
I can give you an example of a company called Goetten, which is based in San Francisco, here in California.
Right.
They're doing analytics in the cloud with big data. They have a amazing big data platform for analytics. We have a partnership with them. So the way we do is we are selling big data, good data, in Latin America. We have integrated all our products with them. So instantaneously, they will have access to 80,000 enterprises in our market.
And you do all the investment to distribute this content?
Yes.
Distribute this
so
platform.
I'm doing that, but I like them so much that I decided also to invest on them.
Oh.
So this can happen. There are different tools that we can use depending on the startup.
When you say invest on them, it's like a seed money, it's like a round A, how is it gonna work?
So the way TOTVS invest, we don't invest in very early stage startups. We prefer to work with companies, startups that has been to their technology is proved, they already have customers, they have some revenue, right? So I would say probably between Series B and pre-IPO, this is where we prefer to work. Of course, there are exceptions, but that's our preferred range today.
Very good, very good. Future. Future is important thing,
It
right?
is. It really is.
What's the future?
So the future is, like we were discussing before, I believe there is a great opportunity for TOTVS labs to be global. So my vision for the labs itself is to open other TOTVS labs around the world. So for example, the next one that I want to open is in Brazil. So I want to take advantage of what we've learned here with the culture that we have in Brazil, and I want to see labs in Brazil. Second, Asia, Europe, etc. So that's for the labs. Future for TOTVS itself is becoming this global standard for especially small and mid-size companies.
Okay, how to improve the ecosystem around the world?
That's a very tough question. Because it's kind of a combination, right? It is really hard to say what is more important. I believe it is a combination. So we have to have support from local government, the academy. We need to generate talent all the time. We need research from the academy, and we need role models. Right? So it's a combination of these three factors. And I strongly believe that other regions of the world, they should come to Silicon Valley, see what's happening here, and don't try to replicate. Try to create your own ecosystem in your place. Take advantage of what you have that works well and see what you can improve, but don't try to replicate Silicon Valley, which is really unique, very different from...
That's a good advice. Advice. What's the future on technology?
So the future on technology, we have seen explosion of mobile devices, right? A lot of startups going mobile first. So you develop first for mobile, and then you go to wearable devices, right? An explosion in wearable devices, like either if you're monitoring your activities, or the glasses, right? That you can take pictures or check your email from your glasses. So that's another one. Cloud, it's not even a trend anymore, it's a reality. Big data, great opportunities with big data. So these are the main ones that I would
pick.
Yeah, that I would pick.
What's your advice for the startup, for the entrepreneur?
So my advices are, there is a very interesting article that I was reading the other day, and I fully agree. Doing things that don't scale at first. What do I mean of that? It's taking care of your first few customers, right? Get your product out there, talk to real customers, talk to real people, learn from that. So if you're starting, that's what really matters in the beginning. Get people using your product, get feedback, and serve them well. Then you can scale. But in the beginning, do things that don't scale in the beginning.
Very good, very good. Let's talk about personal things here.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, let's go.
Family. How are you with family?
So I'm married. I've been married for, let me see here, 7
Don't forget,
years. Yes.
you're going to have problem at home.
Yes.
What's the name of your wife?
Daniela.
Daniela.
Yeah.
Show dele aqui.
So I've been married for 7 years now. I have 2 kids, Benjamin and Thomas. Benjamin is 2 years old and Thomas is 2 months.
Oh,
they were both born here in California.
California.
Yeah.
Good, good. And you have time for your family or just work?
No, I have time for family. I work a lot, but I really like to balance. I try to balance my life. So I like to have my personal time. I like to take care of my spiritual side as well. So I like to balance things, and I try to encourage my team to do the same. Don't be working like until late every day. Of course, if we have a deadline, we have to do. Sure. But the goal is to balance our life.
Do you like sports?
I love sports.
You do sports?
Yeah, so as a Brazilian, of course, I love soccer. I play soccer. And I was really surprised of how many people are playing soccer here in the Bay Area.
Sure.
I like to ride my bike. I ride my bike twice a week.
You ride a bike for work or what?
I ride at least once or twice a week to work.
To go to work?
Yeah, to go to work.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so I would say soccer, bike. I used to play tennis. I have not been playing for the last few months, but I like to play tennis as well. So these are the main sports that I like.
Very good. Vicente, I'm going to give you short questions.
Okay.
To have short answers.
Okay.
Okay. So, world?
Amazing.
Brazil?
There's a great opportunity.
Silicon Valley?
Awesome.
Your hobby?
Riding my bike.
Startup?
Do things that don't scale.
Ecosystem?
Use your local characteristics.
Family?
A blast.
Hands-on?
HandsOn.TV is amazing. Great content, great opportunity, great initiative. I'm sold. I'm a huge fan of HandsOn.TV.
You're amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
I'll see you next round.